They told him the court would deliver justice, but justice was the lie they fed him to keep him silent. Victor Hale had always been the voice for truth, the whistleblower, exposing the corruption of powerful families who ran the town of Ashcroft. But the night he revealed their deepest secrets, the shadows themselves seemed to gather around him. Soon he was dragged into a court that would not judge him fairly, a court set to deliver a fake judgment that would break him, silence him, and protect the very people plotting to destroy his life. He knew the verdict was a lie. He could see it in the twisted smiles of the judges, hear it in the whispers of the lawyers, and yet the world would believe it. When the gavel fell, the sentence didn't just crush his body, it awakened something older, darker, something lurking in the corners of Ashcroft, feeding on deceit. To be continued. They said the truth would set him free, but in Ashcroft, the truth was the first thing they buried. Victor Hale stood in the center of the courtroom as the chandelier above him flickered weakly, as if the light itself refused to witness the lie about to unfold. His heartbeat thundered in his ears, but the room was disturbingly silent, too silent. The judges sat stiffly, their eyes cold, their faces emotionless. It felt less like a court and more like a room full of mannequins carved from old bones. And yet, every time Victor blinked, their faces shifted. Their eyes dragged across him in ways no human eyes should move. The head judge, Lord Alden Pierce, leaned forward. His voice was calm, but Victor heard the darkness hiding beneath each word. Victor Hale, you stand accused of treason against the town of Ashcroft. Victor swallowed. I told the truth, and you know it. A soft whisper slithered through the entire courtroom, like a draft carrying lost souls. No one reacted, not even the guards, but Victor felt it grip his spine. Lord Pierce continued, "The court finds you." The lights blinked violently, 1, 2, 3 times. When they steadied, Victor saw a shadow behind the judge, tall, thin, hooded, no face, only 2 empty holes glowing with pale blue light. Victor's breath hitched. Do you see that?" he whispered. But every person in the room stared ahead as if nothing was there. A hand, black as smoke, long-fingered, stretching unnaturally, rested on the judge's shoulder. And then, with a voice that wasn't entirely the judge's, the verdict dropped like a curse. Guilty. The gavel slammed. It didn't sound like wood on wood. It sounded like a coffin being sealed. People in the courtroom sighed with relief, not because justice had been served, but because someone powerful had been protected. Victor felt the truth twisting itself into a noose around his neck. As guards dragged him toward the cell, he looked back one last time. The shadow behind the judge lifted its head, and though it had no face, Victor felt it staring straight into his soul. In the hallway, the lights flickered again. This time, only Victor heard the whisper. The truth is awake now, and it's coming for all of them. He stumbled, gripping the wall to steady himself. His life was ruined, his voice silenced. But whatever that shadow was, it wasn't on the side of the judges. It wasn't on anyone's side. Victor realized something terrifying. The fake judgment didn't just punish him. It awakened something ancient, something hungry. And it wouldn't stop until every lie in Ashcroft was paid for. To be continued. The nights in Ashcroft Prison were never quiet, but tonight, they were listening. Victor Hale sat on his narrow prison bed, staring at the damp stone wall. The candle beside him sputtered like it was choking on something unseen. As the flame danced, shadows twisted unnaturally around him, not like shadows cast by light, but like shapes moving on their own. He pressed his hands against his ears, but the whisper still slipped through. "Victor." He froze. That voice, soft, trembling, painfully familiar. It sounded like his mother, who died 12 years ago. "No," he whispered, "this is not real." But the voice came again. "Victor, they lied." A cold rush slid down his spine. The air inside the cell shifted, heavy enough to press against his chest. The candle leaned sideways as if pushed by a breath that didn't come from any living thing. Victor stared at the wall in front of him, cracks spiderwebbed across it. Then something moved behind the stone. A slow drag, a scrape, a whispering breath. Victor stepped forward, trembling. The wall pulsed, just once. Then a pale, ghostly hand broke through the stone, long fingers stretching out, nails black and cracked. Victor stumbled back and slammed against the opposite wall. The hand slowly retreated, sinking back into the stone like the wall was nothing but water. A faint whisper followed it. "Not safe, not safe here. They are watching you." Victor pressed himself flat against the cold bricks, chest heaving. "What do you want from me?" he whispered into the empty cell. Silence. Then a different voice, deeper, older, and full of pain, echoed around him. "Justice." Suddenly, the hallway outside his cell thundered with footsteps. A guard screamed, one short, awful cry, then silence. The kind of silence that meant something terrible had happened. Victor rushed to the bars and peered out. The corridor was empty, but something was wrong, very wrong. The lights overhead began to flicker rhythmically. One cell illuminated, then the next, as if something was walking down the hallway toward him but couldn't be seen. With every flicker, Victor's heartbeat grew louder. Then the lights went out completely. Only the candle in Victor's cell remained. It glowed softly. Then the flame bent, pointing toward the corridor, as if pulled by an invisible force. Victor whispered, "Who's there?" A voice, colder than the stone beneath his feet, replied, "The dead who never got justice, the dead you tried to protect." Victor's breath caught, the candle extinguished, and in the darkness he finally saw them. Faces forming in the shadows, pale and hollow, mouths trembling, eyes full of torment. Men, women, children, all whispering at once, "They killed us, and they will kill you too if you stay silent." Victor stumbled back, shaking violently. "I don't know what you want me to do." A child's voice whispered right beside his ear. "Tell the truth, Victor." He turned sharply. No one was there. But on his wall, words were slowly carving themselves into the stone, letter by letter. "The truth isn't dead, but the liars will be." Victor fell to his knees, breathless. The fake judgment wasn't the end. It was the beginning. The walls of Ashcroft weren't holding him prisoner. They were holding something else back, something that wanted out. To be continued.